Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. I'm a Forbes contributor covering social entrepreneurship and impact investing. And today we have with us Lata Reddy, who is the Vice President of Corporate Social Responsibility at Prudential. She's helping to increase the firm's impact investment portfolio up to $1 billion by 2020. Lata, welcome to the show. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you, Devin. It's great to be here.
Lata, you've been putting a lot of your impact investments into Newark, the very community in which Prudential has always had its headquarters. You were founded there 140 years ago. I don't suspect you remember that, but you've been there a long time, and this is an important part of Prudential is an important part of that community. You've made that community an important part of Prudential. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
Sure. So as you mentioned, Prudential's been here for a long time. And in fact, we were founded here just down the street from the office tower in which I sit. And we've remained here ever since. And, you know, Newark is New Jersey's largest city. And it's an incredible place with an incredibly rich and vibrant community and a number of assets. And, you know, we've been really proud to call Newark our home. And as you said, we've made a number of investments here. And we've been with the city through good times and through bad. And it's been a part of our history and a part of who we are. And so, you know, we've really focused on people and on place and on how do we help ensure that rising tides lift all boats and that the investments that we make are for the betterment of everybody.
The effort is, I think, challenging. And why don't you just take a minute and talk about some of the realities and recent history of Newark so that we understand that clearly those who live in your area get it. But most of the country, you know, Newark's not a destination. They haven't been there, haven't spent time there, don't understand the history. Tell us a little bit about the community.
Sure. So I will start with the assets because there are many, and then I will talk about some of the opportunities and the challenges. So Newark is a city that is rich with universities, right? We have 5 institutions of higher education here, and so thousands of students, undergraduate and graduate students who are here every day. We have many businesses that are headquartered here, including obviously ours, but other sizable corporations and, you know, anchors in the city, just as we are. We have a rich array of cultural institutions who contribute to the city and the vitality of the city. And we have, you know, entryways through the ports and through the, you know, the highways, obviously, in the train system. And so great access into and out of the city. Having said that, Newark, like many other cities, and especially some of the former industrial cities in this country, have suffered from, you know, many different factors. And so there were decades of disinvestment that hit the city hard. And whether moving out of those with means or the, you know, decline in infrastructure, the challenges around education, around public safety and the like. So not dissimilar from other cities, but certainly things that we are grappling with here.
And how does the poverty, to the extent that that's a problem in Newark, impact the community?
So there are lots of different ways that plays out, right? So you think about the children who are coming to school every day, right? Who are faced with an array of circumstances, whether it's at home or on the streets, literally, as they're making their way to school. And so that presents a host of challenges, right? So it's not just about education, it's how do we provide holistic services so that we can ensure that children are, you know, up to speed and on par with their peers in wealthier suburbs. There are challenges around safety because the lack of opportunity presents a whole, again, array of issues. And there are financial implications for this because we know it takes a lot more money for remediation efforts of all types, right, versus putting the initial investments in to provide adequate services and products.
Let's talk about some of the projects you've helped to fund and otherwise lead, because you've put on the order of $400 million to work in Newark in recent years.
We have, and it's through, again, a focus on the people and on the place. And so we've invested in a number of efforts to physically redevelop the city. And so the Haynes Building is one example where we helped to acquire an iconic former department store building that laid vacant for over 30, 40 years. And with a wonderful development partner, L&M, we've been able to restore that building to its former glory. And so it will soon be housing major retail establishments such as Whole Foods, as well as lovely apartments that will be coming online that include affordable apartments as well as market rate apartments. So that's one example. We invested in Aero Farms, which is next generation manufacturing, right? It's producing leafy greens right here in the heart of downtown Newark. So an indoor vertical farm that is, helping to alleviate the food desert issue we have here in Newark, as well as providing quality jobs for Newark residents. We've invested in charter schools here in the city, so to help provide more seats for students in terms of quality educational options. So those are some of the examples of things that we've developed here.
Yeah, it's really remarkable stuff. I mean, who'd have thought that you would be farming in Newark, in downtown Newark? I mean, that's just such an unanticipated investment, but clearly real benefits to bringing fresh fruit and vegetables as well as jobs, quality jobs, right into the city. So it's a great investment. Really exciting to see that. How does this fit into your overall impact investment strategy, your goal of increasing your portfolio to $1 billion by 2020?
So Newark are a sizable part of the investments we're making through our impact investments portfolio. And so all of these investments are contributing to that goal, right? And we are lucky in that we're a multi-asset, right, multi-strategy manager. And so we are able to invest in a range of things with really attractive risk, return, and impact measurements. And so, the Newark portfolio is a big part of it. It's not everything, but it's obviously close to our hearts in terms of, right, the investments we're able to make in our hometown.
As you think about impact investing and the problems in the world, not just in Newark, it seems to me that the current scale of impact investing doesn't adequately address the potential that impact investing could, right? We need more assets deployed in that space. Do you agree with that assessment?
I do agree. I mean, the good news, so yes, I mean, there's enormous potential to unlock additional capital, right, that can be used in this way. And the good news is there is increased interest, right? We're seeing that the interest in sustainable, responsible, and impact investing has grown tremendously over the last few years alone. So in fact, right, I've seen statistics where assets that are managed using those principles have grown by 33% in the last 2 years. So, we know that asset owners are looking to asset managers increasingly to incorporate those types of principles into their mandates. So, right, good news, and I think we're going to see much more of this activity going forward.
At the same time, if we look at Prudential itself, we see a clear manifestation of the challenge there. Prudential is a leader in this space. Right, you have committed relatively early to allocate $1 billion toward impact investment. Really remarkable. But in fairness to the situation, Prudential has $1 trillion of assets. So we're talking about 1/1000th of the institution's assets. For impact investing to really reach its potential, we probably need to see it grow by 1 or maybe 2 orders of magnitude. How do you get that to happen within the bank or within the institution, and how does that happen and ripple throughout the industry so that much more assets are deployed in this way?
So the company was pretty prescient in the fact that, and you alluded to this in your question, that decades ago, right, we put forward some really high-risk money in this regard to be devoted to impact investing. and we've built a significant portfolio. So over $500 million in assets under management currently, and under management rather. And as you said, we're growing that to $1 billion. Absolutely opportunity to do more. And as I said, right, there's an increased interest on the part of clients and others, and certainly in terms of societal expectations with respect to business, right, a need for us to engage further in society. And so what we've done is be able to demonstrate some proof points that impact investing works and that we will get a return on our money, right, financial return as well as a societal return. And so we can use that information, right, to leverage further resources across the enterprise. And in fact, that's what we're doing at this moment.
Lata, it is exciting to see the progress you're making and the way in which you are leading. Lata, you left Prudential for a time and came back, and you came back in this key strategic social position. And I just am curious about why this position. Why the social impact side, the corporate social responsibility side of the business is so appealing to you.
So I had the opportunity to come back, as you said, to a company that I believe in deeply and, right, who has this amazing platform in that our department manages some significant resources on behalf of the firm. So in addition to our impact investing, we have our philanthropy and other cash giving, as well as helping to leverage the time and talent of our executives and our employees. But what was most appealing was the opportunity to leverage those specific resources that we actively manage with the resources that exist across the enterprise. So how do we bring our core business capabilities to bear on solving some of these, intractable social issues? And so that was my interest. I come at this work as a former civil rights attorney and from the nonprofit and public sector. And so, my heart has always been on the social impact side, but the opportunity to leverage the resources of the size of a company like Prudential and have impact at scale that can be sustainable was what attracted me to the company.
Yeah, I can imagine the appeal of being able to deploy $1 billion for social good. That would be an appealing opportunity. Now, Lata, you are really a role model to a lot of people. I'm sure you are beloved in Newark and elsewhere for your role in helping to bring about the changes that are going on there and the impact investment you're doing around the world. But who do you look up to as a role model? Who inspires you?
So I have many role models, but I would say the original role model for me was really my father. And that was because of the fact that he came from very limited means and circumstances, and certainly because of opportunities that he was afforded, but by his own self, his will and determination, was able to, within his lifetime, right, elevate our family's circumstances by, I would say, several sort of levels, and what usually takes several generations. And so it really inspired me to do the work that I do and to try to help level the playing field for others.
No, that's great. I appreciate that inspiring perspective. Now, Lata, we ask all of our guests for what we call an impact hack, some tip that would help us to do more good in the world. And of course, you're doing a lot of good. Let me just counsel you not to use Prudential's $1 billion impact investment portfolio as your tip, but please give us a tip that would allow us all to do more good.
I would say my number one tip is to hire really smart people. I have been fortunate to surround myself with people who are smarter than me and right, who are doing this work every day. And so that creates a multiplier effect in terms of the impact that we're able to have.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is a great counsel, and we can all do that better. I appreciate very much your insights there. Well, Lata, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show today. Before you go, I wonder if you would just take a minute and tell people how they can learn more about Prudential's impact investment activities and how they can connect with you personally.
Sure. They can reach me and learn more on my Twitter handle at Lata Reddy.
Fantastic. Well, we really appreciate you taking time to be with us today and wish you every success in building that $1 billion impact portfolio.
Thank you very much, Devin. It was great to be with you.
All righty. Let's do some good.